future has been prepared. Our destiny. It's like missing the best part. Because see, we have been redeemed, we have been purchased by the blood of Christ, being forgiven. But the Bible tells us that what we are going to be is not manifested yet. All right? And we're going to talk about that in a minute. All right. The hope of Christ's return produces the effect of a continual abiding in every true believer as they long for the glorious future prepared for them. Paul called it loving his appearing. You love his appearing. You wake up in the morning and say, might be today. Could it be tonight? You hear the news. Huh? At least when my knees hurt and I'm having a rough day, I am thinking about, I would like to go. I really would like to go. 2 Timothy chapter 4, verse 8. Look what it says, Paul. Finally, there is laid up for me a crown of righteousness, which the Lord, the righteous judge, will give to me on that day, the day of his appearance. But look at the second part. Look what Paul says. And not only to me, but also to all who have loved his appearing. Ain't that marvelous? It's a crown of righteousness. Do you know what that means? It's the righteousness of Christ himself. It's going to be given to you. That means that there in heaven, you got the same right that Christ had. The same righteousness. Just like what he did on the cross, like you did it yourself. Like you never sinned. That's the crown of righteousness. Crown of justice. Paul says that in 2 Timothy chapter 4, verse 8. That should be a verse that every believer should have laid in his heart. Because this is part of our future. Finally, there is laid up for me a crown of righteousness. Laid up means, set apart. Like when you go to the store and you pay a down payment of something, you say, lay it away. I'll be back for it. You can't sell it. It's mine. You see? And then it say, which the Lord, the righteous judge, will give to me on that day. That crown of righteousness, not only to me, but to all of those that love his appearing. That might be you, me, all of us. That we're waiting for Christ. That takes us to verse 29. Look what verse 29 says. If you know that he is righteous, if you know that God is righteous, if you know that he does everything right, if you know that in your heart, you know that everyone who practices righteousness is born of him. See? The one that practices what is right. Sometimes not to do right could be fun. Sister Evelyn, she knows that you need to be at school, 8 o'clock?
The kids at 8 have to be at school at 7:30.
7:30. She need to be there. She's a teacher. She need to be at 7:30. Huh? How nice will be for her to, instead of going to school, go somewhere else and go get a manicure and a pedicure and have a good time and not to be there. You know what I'm saying? But to do that, they'll be deviating from her obligation, and that won't be doing righteous things. To do righteous things is to do what you're supposed to do, what is expected of you. You see what I'm saying? Now, it will be a lot of fun to go the other way, but it won't be righteous. You see? So what John is saying here is that if you know that God is righteous, you understand that everything the way he does things and everything he does is right, then the people that practice that kind of righteousness are born of him. You see, they represent his character. You see? And this is why, people know that you're a Christian and you're not a Christian. The things you do, the way you talk, the way that you behave yourself. The key phrase here is everyone who practices righteousness is born of him. That's the key phrase here. This is the second feature of the believer's hope. If you are waiting for Christ, you persevere. That was the first one. The second one, you practice righteousness. You do what is right. You took a loan and you know you got to pay $30 a month. You pay $30 a month. You know what I'm saying? You know the rent is due or the payment is due the 30 when you have it ready the first. I mean, it just common thing. If the police give you a ticket, well, you pay. You know, let's practice righteousness. You know you got a test, you got to study. That's the way it is. You know you got to be at work at 7:30. You got to be there at work at 7:30. The hope of Christ's return not only sustains faith, but makes righteousness a habit. Look at, you hear that? Make righteousness a habit. Okay? We're going to talk about this habit in a minute. The term for born in the same verb used, the same term is used in John 3:7. In other words, when he's saying here, everyone who practices righteousness is born of him, born of God. Okay? That verb that he uses there. In the same verb that Christ uses in John 3:7 when he's talking to Nicodemus, and he's telling Nicodemus, hey, you need to be born again. Okay? You need to be born again. So, that new birth, that new nature that you receive when you come to Christ, okay, is evident on somebody that practices righteousness. If you practice righteousness the way that God does, then you're born of him. You have his nature. That is what John is saying. Those truly born again of God, children of God, have their Heavenly Father righteous nature. They got the nature of God. 1 Peter chapter 1, verse 13 to 16. Look what it says. Therefore, gird up the loins of your mind. Be sober and rest your hope fully upon the grace that is to be brought to you at the revelation of Jesus Christ. As obedient children, not conforming yourself to the former lusts as your ignorance, but as he who called you is holy, you also be holy in all your conduct.